Aloha class. Today I'll be talking about how to make text readable by using font size, casing, weight, line height, line length, and proper alignment. First off, in this text that we have here, um, if you go ahead and try to read this, it's actually not very readable. It's kind of not very viewer friendly, sort of say. I'll even make it worse. What you can do by making it worse is maybe adding bold into there. That would make it worse. Now, a general rule, first off with font size, is that what you're going to want to do, first I'll go ahead and change this back to regular. With font, the smallest that you're going to want to go, depending on the font that you choose, is anywhere from 13 to 16. 12 right here is a little bit too small, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to change this one to 14, see how that looks. 14 with this Times New Roman font is still a little bit small for my liking. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and change that to 16, and I like that a lot better. That is a little bit easier to read and understand. So keeping that at a good size helps the viewer while reading this. Now let's see. Another thing that we want to do is work with casing, and so if we see here, I'll keep it on this Times New Roman font, and I will actually change everything to all caps. By doing so, you can kind of just see the takes away the shape. If you look at it from far away or kind of squint your eyes, you can see it just looks like big squares, big rectangles. The text doesn't have any shape, and that's how we actually view text. Is we don't recognize the individual letters necessarily as more as we do the shape. So what I'll do is I'll go back to here, and I'll take that off, take those caps off. That adds a little bit more shape to the text for us, a little bit easier for us to read. So. Another thing that I will do is, depending on if we use a sans serif or a serif font like we do here, and a sans serif font, we're going to highlight different parts of the text differently. So here with the Times New Roman font, let's say I wanted to highlight this word legibility. What some people might do in error is take this and make it bold. With this serif font, it already has smaller x height, as well as the space in between the letters on the B and the E. And so by making it bold, it kind of scrunches those down and makes it a little bit harder to read. And so with a serif font like this, instead of making it bold, it's actually recommended to make it italicized, making it a little bit more legible for the viewer, like that. And so I will go ahead and change this now to a sans serif font. I'll change it to Verdana, and what I'll do here as well, go ahead and fix that real quick. Now with the legibility, I'll take that word again, and instead of using instead of putting italics on it, what we'll do is we'll switch it to bold. Now with this type of font, bold is going to be a lot better and stick out, be easier for the reader to recognize and understand. And so that's just something that'll help with different styles of fonts. That really helps with the weight of the text. Another thing that we're going to do is the line height. We're going to look at this right now. A good general rule for the line height, let me fix this real quick, is that you're going to want it to be about 150% of the text size. So right here we have 16. Instead of having it automatic is going to scrunch it down a little bit too much. So we'll do it at 150% to 24. Now if you see that, that looks a lot better than how it looked before when it was just at auto, which was 19.2. So I'll go ahead and change that back to 24. Let me get this one more time. Okay. Go ahead and switch that to 24, and it makes it just a lot more easy for the viewer to read. Now another thing that we want to work on is the line length in text. A few things we can do is we can obviously shorten it, but you know, this doesn't have very great shape to it, and so shortening it too much wouldn't be good. If we make it too long, we'll run into awkward lengths, and it just looks funny. So instead of doing that, what we'll do is we'll shorten it, and a general rule is to have anywhere from 65 to 85 characters per line. So what I'll do is I will put it here for now, just to show another principle. If we shorten it down this much, what we run into is hyphens and also an orphan here at the very end. Those are two things that aren't very good for text. These orphans for sure want to be eliminated at all costs. Hyphens, you know, sometimes if worse comes to worse, we can have a hyphen in there, but it's better to not have them there if possible. So what I'll do is I'll scrunch it down a little bit more. What this does is it took away that orphan, plus we don't have any more hyphenization in the text. So now by looking at this, we have the Verdana font in size 16. We have the line spacing at 150%, and we have good line length as well. Now for this text, just looking at it, it looks good. You know, I don't think it's too big, but changing it from the Times New Roman Verdana is actually a little bit bigger, so using 16 for Times New Roman is appropriate, I believe, here in this case. But if I switch it back to Verdana, I think we can even go a little bit lower, so maybe 14, and still keep it at that that nice readable size. Last, what I'll talk about is alignment. There's a few different things we can do here. We can align it in the center. This looks, you know, this kind of looks awkward. It has, I think when a viewer tries to read it, it's kind of hard to go from line to line. Generally, the easiest to understand and to read is aligning it to the left. Aligning it to the right as well is kind of difficult because when the reader reads it, it's kind of hard to find out or to see where the next line comes in to start. And so what will happen often is a reader will on accident read the same line over again. And so there's different options we can do. We can justify with the last line aligned to the right. This might be good if you're maybe putting text towards the right of a page. Maybe a lot of it depends on the layout of your website as well. Right here, justifying the bottom line to make everything fit in that box. That just looks, you know, really awkward as well. So best case scenario is just to keep it aligned right at the left, and make sure that when you do that line length, you pay attention for avoiding hyphens and also those orphans, and squishing the text too much, because that's not good as well. So I hope you learned from this video. I hope you can implement these principles in your own text with font, casing, weight, line height, line length, and alignment. Thank you.